What's up, Wise Flyers? David here. Today we're talking about what you need to know in order to get approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. In this video, I'll go over the key benefits of the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card, as well as the credit score you need to know and other factors that'll help determine whether or not you'll get approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. So if you're serious about getting approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card, make sure you pay attention and watch the entire video so that you could get approved. Really quickly, I'll go over the benefits of this card. So you get 60,000 Chase Ultimate Reward points after you spend $4,000 in 3 months, annual fee of $95, 2 points per dollar with dining and travel purchases. And one of my favorite benefits of this card is primary rental car insurance. And if you want to apply or learn more about the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card, I have a link down in the description below, and by using our links, you help support the channel to keep making great content for you. Now let's talk about the credit score you'll need in order to get approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. So Chase doesn't publish officially what credit score you need to get approved for this card, but for the most part, it's going to be above 700 credit score. Ideally, if your score is a 720 or more, you have better chances of approval, but if it's just over 700, most likely you'll get approved for this card. It's important to note, just because your credit score is above 700 doesn't always mean you're going to get approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. So I'll go over some other key factors that'll help determine whether or not you'll get approved for this card. First, let's go over length of credit history. So although the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card is a great card for beginners who are getting involved with credit cards and travel points, it may not be the best card to start out with because you may not have enough credit history to get approved for it. So if you don't have any credit cards or any credit history and your credit score is still above 700, you may not get approved for this card. Chase likes to see you have a little bit more of established credit history before getting approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. But to be fair, I've personally seen a bunch of people who've never had a credit card before and get the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card as their first card. So I think it's best to have some credit history. You'll have better chances of approval, but if you don't, you can still be approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. The next factor is average age of credit card accounts. So along with having decent credit history, Chase wants to see that these credit cards have been open for a long time. If Chase digs into your credit report a little deeper and sees that you've opened multiple cards and closed them within a year, they're going to think you're going to do the same thing with their cards. Therefore, they're probably not going to approve you. One of the best ways you can help improve your average age of credit card accounts is to have no annual fee credit cards and keep them open forever. So if you have a no annual fee credit card, make sure you have it open forever. There's no need to close it. Even if you're not using that card, just keep it open forever. The reason why is these no annual fee cards that are open for a long time will help your credit history and therefore help your credit score and therefore help your chances of approval. Another factor that Chase looks at is your credit limit used. So in other words, it could be your credit utilization with other credit cards. If you have a bunch of credit cards that are maxed out or have high utilization percentages, Chase may not approve you. I know some people say to keep your credit utilization under 30%, some say a magic number like 10% or 7%. Honestly, the best is 0%. The reason why is because you don't want to have any debt. Always pay your bills in full every single month, and that's the best strategy to succeed with getting a bunch of credit cards and sign-up bonuses for the long term, is to always make sure you're paying your bills in full every single month. And probably the most important factor to determine whether or not you'll get approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card is the 524 rule. So you could have a 850 credit score, great credit history, 20 years, everything is perfect on your credit report, but if you've opened more than 5 cards in the past 24 months, you will not get approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. There are some loopholes to get around that 524 rule, which I've personally used. So personally, I just got approved for the Chase Inc. Unlimited card, which was actually my 50th credit card open. And so even though I am over 524, I've opened more than 5 cards in the past 24 months, I was able to get approved for the Chase Inc. Unlimited, which has similar application approval rules as the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. One method is to go to a Chase branch and see if you are pre-approved. So when you go into the Chase branch, you could sit down with the branch manager and don't apply for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card, but just ask if you are pre-approved. So what they do is a soft pull. You give them the last four of your social as well as some other data points, and they look you up in the system. If your name or if the card that you are pre-approved for is in green on their screen, then if you apply for it, most likely you'll get approved for that card, assuming all the other factors I spoke about earlier are good, to get approved, then you can get approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card that way. Another factor that could help is banking history with Chase. So if you have a checking account, savings account, or any other relationships with Chase, that can help you get approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card, although it isn't necessary. So now you know the factors. Let's say you apply for this card and you get approved. You can actually call up and get the card expedited. It'll show up to you within 2 days. Just make sure you call right away if you get an instant approval. If the application comes up as pending or denied, there are still ways you could get approved for this card. One of the ways is to call the reconsideration line. So sometimes the computers and algorithms, they may just put your application in pending or denied just automatically, just because of whatever factors may be in place. They may need to verify some information. So you could just simply call up the reconsideration line and just put a human element behind the application, and you talk to a representative, and they may just need to verify some information. They may ask you a couple of questions, nothing too serious, but there are some things you can say to help your chances of approval. I have a free PDF down in the description below of exactly what to say on the reconsideration line, as well as the numbers to call if you want to get approved for the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. So click the link down in the description below and you'll know exactly what to say and the number to call. And if your application is denied, you speak to the representative and there's just no way of getting it approved, you could still apply for this card in a few months. So just because you are denied now doesn't mean you can't apply for it later on in the future. And if you feel like the Chase Sapphire Preferred Card may not be for you, it may not be the right timing, you could also get the Chase Freedom or Chase Freedom Unlimited cards. So to get these no annual fee credit cards, they're just kind of a step below Chase Sapphire Preferred Card. You still get a lot of really good benefits. You could still earn Chase Ultimate Reward points. You just can't transfer them to transfer partners, which is, I think, the best way to get value out of Chase Ultimate Reward points. For the Chase Freedom cards, there are much lower requirements in order to get approved. So you may only need a credit score of 650 or higher in order to get approved for those cards. So if your credit score is below 700, then the Chase Freedoms may be a better option for you. And if you want to raise your credit score and learn how I was able to get my credit score above 800, you could click this link right over here. And if you want to learn the best ways to use Chase Ultimate Reward points, you could click this link down here, and I'll see you in the next video.